Hello guys, welcome back to the studio. Yes, there was an episode last week and I promised that I would do an episode to share my answer in the room that day in 1991 about what makes me proud of my ancestors as a black man. So, welcome back to the studio. I can see you guys can't wait to hear from me, right?
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Hey, listen, I was born in Benin Republic, okay? And I grew up with my grandfather because my father passed when I was 11. My grandfather named me Zanu. Zanu means that which belongs to the dark. And every time I say the name, especially in the West, like, who names a child like that? But the full word is Zanuli, you know. So Zanu, either he or that which belongs to the dark. And people are like, why? Who would name a child like that? So when a place is dark, what do you take there?
Light.
That's
right?
correct. That's what he meant. That's what my grandfather meant. So my grandfather had 3 boys. And by our tradition, if my grandfather's second son gives birth to a boy, my grandfather would name that boy. Okay? So my father gave birth to 5 girls. I was the only. And so the day I was born, I was taken to my grandfather, and I didn't understand the name either. And then he said, when he looked into my eyes as they gave to him and then unwrapped it for the first time, I saw a light and I said, this one, he belongs to the dark, which means I'm attracted to negative things. And guess what? Name does actually work on kids. I love negative things, meaning that I love things that are not the group think, the common thought. The comfortable, you know, I don't. It doesn't inspire me. I like things to challenge me. But as I was growing up and they were explaining the name and I was, okay, geez, that's what you call me? Or, you know, I didn't appreciate it until recently. People say, wow, if that is the definition, actually it matches you. Because my grandfather used to say, when I come home and I complain, like I was bullied in school, somebody did this, he would say, yes, those are your good people. What? Because he believes that you would discover yourself if you have people like that, those who challenge you. And so he would laugh. He made me to laugh when I came to the United States, and I hear people say a lot, oh, I like to be among positive people. My grandfather used to say, if you are standing always under the light, how would you know how much you shine? So if you are always around positive people, you don't know anything about yourself. They're pampering you until one day when a little darkness is introduced, boom, you're gone. Poof. So he says, occasionally find the dark place and go there. And if you see that you're not brighten enough, then go charge your battery. He never went to school. My parents never went to school. Nobody. I'm a first generation scholar in my family. By that I mean the first to go to primary school. But here is an old man who was never educated. Well, these are the ways he, you know, I don't know if he meant it, if he knew it, but slowly it began to have impact on me. That's my understanding and introduction to life. He lived until 103 before he died.
Whoa.
Wow,
Yes.
103.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that day he walked from another house where he went to heal somebody's eyes. He was a herbalist and a chief voodoo priest. And I adore him a lot. No classroom could give me what he gave me. And that helped me to travel the world, live in very difficult cultures, and never failed. I have empathy and understand that when I leave my house, I have no standards imposed on how people should relate to me. No. When I leave my house, I have no expectation how you or you should relate to me. That is asking for trouble. I have only one standard, how I should present myself to the world.
Wow.
How I want to be accepted should not be dependent on how you should approach me. No. Because you know what? When you have standards for people, and you have all these expectations, how you want people to talk to you. But I don't know how Zuri woke up this morning. I don't know when he woke up, the first phone call he got, what news he got. The grandma is dead. The mother is taken to the hospital. It would affect his mood. And within that hour, I was the first person he met, and I'm expecting him, what? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People leave their homes. Some, they're in a zombie state. They don't know if they are happy or if they are sad. They are trying to find out in the first few hours of the morning. Unfortunately, they run into you. But because you live your life having standards and expectations of people you meet, how they should treat you, you're going to have problem every second of your life because they're going to disappoint you. But me, according to my grandfather, when you leave your house, stop at the door and count 10 and say to yourself, what you believe should be the standards you will present, regardless of the person's class, wealth, race, color. And you will see, you'll be free.
And were you free?
When people ask me, hey Zanu, good morning, how are you? I say, I'm tall, handsome, and happy.
Okay.
Because I'm very free. Absolutely. I have decided that if I should ever get angry, it should be intentional, just because I want to save somebody's life. That's the only time I'll be angry. But I challenge any human being to make me angry. You'll fail. It is the only thing that drives me, yes, proving you wrong every day. So, that day in the room in France, while the people were going round, I have never faced that question. I've never faced that question. I don't have the answer. I've never even thought about it.
Right.
So the answer came from their answers. So I'm listening, and I was like, oh my God. If I introduce myself, it will be one of them whose parents gave me that name, Franck. I'm a black man from Africa. Here I am hanging with a French name, right? So I will use their grandfathers gave me that name. What is my official language? It's either French or English. They gave it to me. My mode of dressing, they gave it to me. The curriculums that raised me to even be able to be in that room, they gave it to me. The plane ride to that country, their forefathers built it, you understand? So it was hitting me, and I said, wow. Then when it came to me, I said it. I said, wow, I have never thought about it. But this is the first time I will say to you, by listening to people, the burden with which they live their lives and grow. This is the first time I will say, I am really, really proud of my ancestors, because they left nothing behind. Nothing at all. I've traveled the world as a black man, and I have never seen a black country where the people who live in it are foreigners that were brought there by blacks as slaves. Not one single country. Yet the black race has more countries on earth than any other country. 54 are on the continent. 13 black countries in the Caribbean. So 68 black countries. There's not a single black country where slaves were bought from outside by black people. I've traveled the world. Not a single country in the world colonized by a black country. There's nowhere you go on Mother Earth where the language they are speaking was imposed on them by force by a black country. I've traveled the world, and I have never seen a religion that is imposed upon anybody anywhere in this world by a black country. There are 68 black countries in the world, the largest continent by number of countries. Not a single one of them has a nuclear weapon of mass destruction. Black countries across the world, none of them is responsible for what we call the military complex, where we are manufacturing dirty bombs and sending things into the water to pollute people. I've traveled the world, and I'm yet to see one product that was forced to be sold in another country by a black country. So it means the black race is the only race on earth that represent what the United Nations have been looking for the last 100 years, peace. Yes, we fought internal wars just like anybody, and that is all we did. Therefore, in my travels, there was no place I went on earth where the people there pointed fingers at me and say, your people did this to me. Never. The black person is the only one who travels this earth, and no one will point a finger. That's what my ancestors left behind. Nothing.
Holy shit.
I think that is.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah. That has to be definitely. I'd say more powerful than anything any of the other countries have said. It's everything and nothing. That's amazing. I don't even know what to rebuttal to that. It's.
Would you say that's purpose?
You see, we always think that invention is what makes people smart. So in February, it's coming. Black people are going to go to classrooms hanging peanut butter and say, yeah, we invented peanut butter. Yeah, we invented traffic light and they stole us. You see, we are trying so hard to think that only when you invent something, then you are... No, it's not true. Inventions are only based on fear and necessity. But what we have done, and let me tell you something else. Countries have been colonized. But each time the colony is over, what the colonized country does to the one that colonized them, they pay prices. From West Africa to South Africa, Black Africa is the only place where when the colonies end their colonization, we never hurt anyone. We turn around and we live with them peacefully and happily. Yes. Wow. We join the Commonwealth of Nations after colony. We're not stupid because we never harbor anything like that. But we are thinking always it has to be inventions. No.
Or we have to build something.
Yeah, something. Not at all. It's always the consumer and the producer.
That's what I thought of when you asked.
And consumption is very, very, very powerful.
Something we put out a physical.
If you remove Africa from the world, Europe, Asia, and America will be buried under their own second-hand goods. There's no amount of disposal place in any European country to absorb waste. Africa it is.
Wow.
When I said it, the French guy jumped over the coffee table and hugged me. He said, you made me feel ashamed, because he gave it 2 years before he went to Senegal. Senegal was colonized by the French. Mm-hmm. You hear what is going on in Niger. That fool with the black alert and the pistol on his side, walking back and forth, trying to keep the French out of Niger. And he said while he was in Senegal, every club he went to, they're pointing fingers at him, what the French came to do in this country. They stole all our this, and they did this, and they did this. Then the American kid said, no, the British kid said he went to Nepal, and the same thing. Everywhere he went, they were pointing fingers. Your people came here and colonized us, and they were trying to force religion on. Everybody began to give their own negative stories of how others treat them when they go out.
Wow.
Guys, you don't have to invent or build cars and sell it, electronics, and no, to be known. When human life began, nobody was treated based on inventions because there were no inventions. They looked purely at how you live side by side with the external environment, nature and other human beings. We are the only culture on earth where you travel through a black village, a total foreigner, and they would take the best food they have to give to you to eat and give you the best room to sleep in. Till today, we do it. That is why, with all the things that happened to Africa, colonization and slavery and all that, you would never hear anybody say he's afraid to travel through Africa. Especially if you are white, you are safer. So, whatever America and Britain and Germany, whichever, white people did at the time they did it, it was based only on the intellectual level of the people. That is all they could do. But you have to recognize that. At the time the Africans were giving their people to foreigners, it is also based on their intellectual level. Once upon a time, the Jews had a law that says an eye for an eye, until somebody said, hold on guys, if we continue, no one is perfect. We are going to be blind people in this city. So he introduced forgiveness. Because at the time of an eye for an eye, that was the only intellectual way you can understand what is called justice.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So every age is based on the intellectual level. Once upon a time when the guy said the earth was flat, it was based on the tool that was available to observe it, not because they were dumb. So whatever white people did in this world, we have to recognize among the G8, the most advanced or industrialized countries, the G8, name a country that is able to rise this up and build such an industrial complex without stepping on a toe. It's impossible. It's impossible. Even for individuals, for you to become successful and rich, you would step on toes. Some you will not be aware of.
You're right. You're bringing up some points that I never thought to think of. And, you know, if our parents had taught us that and had that message, I think we would never grow up feeling so angry and, you know, accusatory towards the white man, right? And everything that he did to hold us down.
The anger you see in the United States. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I agree. I definitely think there's sort of like helplessness people feel. And I think, yeah, that message would definitely, you know, put a fire under people and be like, okay, yeah, like I have this responsibility to do this and do that, and be a contributing member to our, you know, community.
Yes.
Sure.
I don't blame black kids in Chicago or anywhere that are doing the things that we're not proud of. We fed them with that anger because we couldn't tell them the story I just told you. Do you know how it would feel if you're young and people were trying to say something and say, mention one place on Mother Earth where the black man has done anything guilty? And everybody would just stop.
Yeah, that's one of the
And you start
craziest.
telling them what their great-grandparents did to people and say, name a place where we have ever enslaved people. And they will stop. They will start looking at you and say, wow, who do you think will stand in public and defend slavery? No.
Wow.
They look back. Today's Americans look back and they know that is a stain on America. But it's upon you to recognize at the time they did it, that is all they could do. Now church is over. Pass the plate around. Hey man, thank you again for another wonderful session. But I want to hear the last comment from the two of you before we pack out. So,
like I said, definitely it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had, and coming from a background where, you know, growing up, there was confusion of where, you know, where I came from, you know, what specifically to say, and when I get questioned, hey, where are you from? You know, what's your culture? You know, I don't really have the answer to that. So, and it's definitely a sort of embarrassment when somebody asks you, and you're like, oh, I don't know, and you know, and especially being in America where there's hundreds of different cultures and everybody knows, you know, this flag, this food, this type of stuff, and so I think to wrap it up, I think it's definitely something that needs to be talked about and definitely brought more attention to, for sure.
Yep.
I think this is a perfect example of how important perspective is. And that is why I felt as a kid, I would question the adults in my life. Like, why do we say these things? Well, why is this that way? And they would get so angry with me and, you know, call me disrespectful and all types of things because they couldn't explain what you're explaining here today. And I think that frustration of, okay, this young child is looking to me as a beacon of light and they're asking me questions I've never even thought about. And the only way to stop myself from getting embarrassed is to reprimand that child. So I grew up vowing to myself that I would divorce my culture and that I want to be a new generation. Whoever I end up marrying, and if I ever have children, that child would be a new generation of Black, not the culture that we see and the culture that we celebrate and promote.
Yeah, a new generation is identifiable based on statements. Their thought process comes from the words they use, you know, what they believe. And so that's why it's so important that many countries around the world, they always want to repeat, you know, America has, you know, give me your poor, your weak, your wretched, your population that is yearning to breathe freedom. Give them to me. That's it. He didn't say, this is what I will give them. And American kids grow up seeing on the Statue of Liberty, this promise my country is making to other people. Give me your poor, your weak, your wretched, your population that is yearning to breathe freedom, give them to me. He didn't say, give me your rich, your famous. Mm-hmm. Come on, my country is asking the world, what do we have on our statutes in Africa? What do we have? What did you read in Jamaica growing up? Nothing.
Right. Nothing. Nothing.
If every black country had written this in the back of every textbook, what I just told you, as who we are. Korea is the only, maybe the only Asian country that has never, in its existence, thousands of years of existence, has never attacked another country. That's why the Koreans believe that they're pure. That's what they teach their kids.
Yeah.
They teach them. They say, we have never attacked anybody. They've been attacked 770 times. Manchurians, Mongolians, Japanese, everyone. Does that make them inferior? No.
Right.
Genghis Khan died shamefully because of slashing people, right, across Asia. But Koreans today are saying to their children, you see how pure we are? They use their weakness to make their children feel proud.
And we should start doing the same.
You're here running around on a hardwood floor, chasing after an inflated balloon with tattoos all over your body, with an ugly facial hair, and then every day you open your mouth, you poison the young ones. Why would the students in the school you built, everything they hear about you is calling a white man evil? Trump won a campaign instead of you saying something positive. You text out there, we don't need them. You don't need who? LeBron, your team is owned by white Jews.
Yeah, they're signing that check. Yeah. As always, Zanu, you are the Gen Z guru. Are we rethinkers now? Did we graduate?
Yeah, somebody said it in the anybody. Yeah, somebody said it already in the comments. Anybody who follow Zanu is a rethinking.
Yes, we're rethinking.
So
hey, our
merchandise, the cups are going to say rethinkers. Yes, I'm a rethinker. Are you? I'm a rethinker. Yes. So yeah, we have a new. What do they call Taylor Swift people?
Swifties.
And Beyonce.
Beehive.
Oh Jesus.
And don't forget Nicki Minaj Barbs.
And Justin Bieber?
The Biebers.
Okay, yeah, we are. The
believers. The
believers. Okay. Yeah, we are building a new community and a generation of rethinkers, yes. And when I see the two of you, even behind the scene when we talk, I have hope. Before I'm put into the box and go sit down below, I know I will smile that yes, indeed, a new generation have decided enough of this, and you are going to create your own language based on your own definition of success, failure, death, life after death, love, whatever it is to you. And your children are going to hear but only positive language. Even when they are in hardship, when they are disagreeing, everybody will be a Zanu. You bring light to the dark.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's amazing.
All right, ladies, we'll see you again. Please subscribe, follow us, like us. One more time, ZPR.